this is Andreas Bovensiepen. Have I pronounced that correctly?
Yes.
The boss of ALPINA. And I'm lucky enough to be taken for a drive. We're going to go and do a quick interview. Maybe out on the Autobahn, do a couple of junctions or something, or whatever you choose. You tell me.
Yes, first we go on a more narrow road, and then later on we go on the German Autobahn. So then I can show you both worlds. It looks like that's a huge beast, a huge car.
Yep.
But due to the fact that we have very much improved the suspension and the steering, and for the first time in the BMW ALPINA B7 we have all-wheel steering, we have a rear-wheel steering,
sure.
And this gives you the agility in a 7, but we have the agility of a 5 Series.
Absolutely.
And that's really cool.
Yep.
So now if you go very slow, you have a very high comfort level. Now we are in comfort mode, but still there's a comfort plus mode available as well.
Sure.
And so this is even smoother and smarter.
And the comfort plus, that just softens it a bit more.
It softens.
Changes the gear, the gearbox settings.
Mainly, the main thing is softening the bound and the rebound of the dampers.
Sure.
So the in Comfort Plus, so the gear shift is the same like in Comfort.
Yep.
So it's more for if you have, the major market for the B7 is the United States and Canada, and you have often these concrete roads, and there's some these spaces in between the different concrete plates, and so you have to tuck, 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 tuck.
Sure.
And so you can avoid in a very soft soft mode. If you have very bad surface, you have the maximum of comfort. Of course, this is a long wheelbase. You can sit in the rear, you can enjoy the rear.
Yep. And
this is then very important. But on the other hand, and this is a little bit like Jekyll and Hyde.
Yep.
You have a very comfortable car. You can sit in the rear, but if you're an active driver or you like to drive at the weekends, then you can go into sport mode. You have a different dials with track indication, blue LED blue instrument panel with green needles. So the car is completely different.
Sure.
It's very sporty. We can put now on DTC mode, and now we will have a nice ride probably. Gives the engine a little bit temperature. Oh, it has some temperature. It's good.
I called this car Jekyll and Hyde in my review yesterday. I said exactly that. It's a very good way of summarising this car.
So now I have DSC off.
Brilliant.
That's a little bit low for the handling. Because maybe they make a left or right.
Of course, yeah. Love it.
So it goes like a rocket?
Absolutely. Piece of road this is, eh?
Yeah, it's a little bit like the narrow British roads,
Yeah. Is this your test track?
Okay, it's in the vicinity, so it's sometimes nice to use it.
Of course, it's fantastic.
But there's all kinds of traffic over here.
Yeah.
And you never know what these kinds are doing.
Next? I feel less guilty about driving it fast yesterday. I was like, I don't want to, okay, no, I've got to drive it fast. I've got to show my viewers how good it is. But now you've taken it to another level. So
yeah, the car is really on a very high level.
Unbelievable.
pulls out of the corners. There's so much, such a high level of traction.
Yep. Oh, and like you said, the brakes are amazing as well. Oh.
So it's more like a 3 Series. You wouldn't think that this is.
Oh, this is amazing. Wow. This is a long wheelbase 7 Series. How is that possible?
Yeah, you see that it's very much. Yeah, there's a very high level of grip, and the car is very stable in the rear. So it was not a lot of oversteer.
No.
It was a little, of course.
Beautiful balance, just beautiful balance. And I love the way the X-Drive, I went on the G30 5 Series launch recently.
Yes.
And it was a great car, incredible. But very balanced, but almost, it lost a bit of the magic. It felt very equal bias to me, not rear bias. I couldn't get it to step out.
Okay.
So when I first got in this, I was a bit worried that there was going to be the same equalness, but immediately, especially in the wet on the first day, in the corner, hit the accelerator, you can feel the back end just slightly, and you know, and then I read in the literature that obviously you've changed the bias of the X-Drive system.
Yeah, we are very much rear wheel located.
Yep.
Of course, BMW, the ultimate driving machine, basically is a rear wheel drive, so we like this behavior of handling.
Sure.
And I hate understeer, so therefore it's important to shift as much of the power to the rear wheels.
Yeah.
And if needed for kind of traction or wet surface, of course, then additionally you have the front axle.
Yeah. Look at it go. It's just effortless, isn't it? And I love what you've done to this, the 4.4. I'm familiar with this obviously in the F10 M5 and stuff, but this has got.
And you have a very fast shifting.
Really fast shifting. Oh. Unbelievable.
But on the other hand, normally here
then
now you should cruise and.
Yeah. It's stunning. Absolutely stunning, and I love the sound is organic. There's no
yes. We are not fans of artificial sound, so therefore I push my engineers. Okay, we have to get the best sound out of the engine, out of the exhaust system.
Sure. And
we do several steps and trial and error and look. Oh no, this is we are always looking for a deep bassy sound, and it's not like, you know, this is one kind of we are distinguishing us from the BMW M. So BMW M is, you know, the race breed, and there's a sound-wise they have a tradition with V8 and V10 engine. Though they are more like the Formula 1 engine sound, like high revving.
Sure.
And we are completely different. We are like to be very bassy, very deep sound, very powerful in the low end.
Yep.
And our main target, of course, we have a high horsepower. Like here, it's 608 horsepower.
It feels more to me.
But yes, it feels more because our first target is have a very high torque and have a very high torque at low revs.
Okay.
And in everyday driving, torque is much more important than maximum horsepower.
Sure.
Maximum horsepower, okay, on a racetrack, and if you rev in every occasion, you rev very high, then it plays, then it's important. But on normal roads, you are often in the mid-rev range, like 3,000 revs, like I'm right now here.
Yep.
And then it's important, if you have a high torque at low revs, then you have a lot of horsepower in the mid-engine and low rev band and mid-rev band.
Yep.
And this the driver feels most.
Sure. And there's very little turbo lag. Only like below 1500. Anything above that is.
So we have the so-called twin scroll turbos.
Sure.
We have new turbos, bigger turbos, and with twin scroll technology, where you have two tubes in one turbo.
Yep.
The response is much faster. So it's only it's only a tenth or something like this.
Sure.
To build up pressure.
Yep.
And this is of course for the first time in the B7 we have it now, and we have it in the B5 and the new B5 now.
Yep.
So this is an advantage over previous models.
Absolutely. Oh, I was so impressed with this car, but now that you've taken me for a proper drive in it, I can't.
Okay,
I can't believe it.
you will be the better chauffeur than me, because I used to, especially in congested traffic in London.
Yeah.
So, but I can drive can try to go as well as a chauffeur.
Yeah.
So okay, you can go smooth. Now we have 1200 RPMs.
Yep. It's beautiful. Questions out. I completely forgot.
Yes,
the questions.
You can start.
I carried away. So, what is your favourite Alpina from the past and in the current lineup?
Okay.
Let's include in the current the new, up and coming B5, the B3S. I assume you've driven them all. So
yeah. So if I go back in the past, I remember two cars which are very nice. This was the E34 B10 biturbo,
yes,
which has 360 horsepower, and there was a nice story. There was Michael Schumacher was asked, I think 15 years ago, and they said, what car you remember very well, but not a Ferrari? And he said, okay, if not a Ferrari, I once have driven an Alpina E34 by10 biturbo, and this was a really cool car.
Brilliant.
And this is the same to me, because at the time you had acceleration maximum speed of a Ferrari Testarossa, and this was 1989.
Incredible, yes, yeah.
So long time ago, and a very nice car we did as well was the E36, a 3 Series, where we implanted the V8 engine with 4.6 liters of capacity.
Yes.
This was still a very torquey car at the time. It was 470 Newton meters.
Yep.
So, and a very bloody fast thing. And yes, this was these cars from the past. And okay, nowadays, of course, right now I have driven the prototype car of the new B4S Coupe.
Yep.
Which is now 440 horsepower and the maximum torque in Newton meter of 660, so 10% more torque. And this in a 4 Series is very convincing.
I bet you. Okay, well that's interesting.
So now we can now we run a sport mode, but now still we have a sport plus mode as well.
And again, the plus just stiffens it up. Oh, and it lowers the car as well.
It lowers the car. Yep. I should have used it before.
Yep.
But now we are lucky there's a little bit free here.
Okay.
So we can a little bit accelerate.
270 we're doing now. 280. 290. And it is so smooth and stable. It's like,
now we have more than 300.
Aside from the wind noise, 310.
A little bit careful because of the traffic.
Yeah.
But 320 is not so bad.
It's the fastest speed I've ever been in a car.
Really?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, but it's so relaxed, you know.
Oh. Aside from the wind that is gonna the noise, that's the only sign of speed.
From 310 you have a little bit wind noise.
Sure. Wow. That's so stable. And it feels like it gets to about 200 and then it feels like it hunkers down and becomes even more stable. The higher speed, maybe the splitter, the aero is bringing it down a bit more.
Yeah, okay. We do a lot of wind tunnel work with every car.
Sure. And
still this car was in the wind tunnel, and our target is to have zero lift.
Yep.
Because normally if you go fast, more air gets into the engine bay and into engine bay, middle tunnel, and the car lifts a little bit.
Sure.
And we try to avoid this lift. And now we have an M4 behind us or something like this, looks like, but too much traffic.
Yeah.
Yes.
And quickly, so the buttons, what's the story behind the buttons? Because I get a lot of people, every time I review an Alpina, it's a very difficult topic. A lot of people aren't fans of the buttons, or they ask me why, or...
Okay, so there's a lot of history behind. When Alpina, it was always about a fast, sporty car, but still to have a car for everyday driving, to have a easy handling, and so therefore we quite early, especially with with the 5 Series and the 7 Series, we had automatic gearboxes.
Yep.
Starting with 4-speed, 5-speed, and so on. And my father had, at first, he had the idea, okay, it's boring to shift and to go only in D. It's not sporty.
Yep.
At the time, the automatics had only the D modes. There was no S mode, nothing. And he said, we should give the driver the possibility to drive in D, but as well to drive sporty and shift at a steering wheel.
Sure.
This was before Formula 1 did it.
Wow.
Formula 1 at the time.
Okay.
It was in 1993.
Yep.
So Formula 1 was manual.
Sure, sure.
And my father had the idea, we have to shift at a steering wheel and automatic gearbox as a manual mode.
Right, okay.
And then came the idea with the buttons. So, and this has a long tradition, and we stayed with this tradition, and therefore we have the buttons right now. So in the meantime, okay, 1993, long ago, a lot of things happened. So later on, Ferrari and other companies came with pedals, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
And there's a little bit of kind of philosophy, of course, for a car tester. In the first place, if you are used to pedals, it's maybe more intuitive. And some people say, oh, I don't like the buttons. But as a customer, when you drive your car every day and you are used to it, then you are quite quickly used to the ergonomic buttons as well.
Okay. Yep.
But if a customer doesn't like the buttons, he can have the pedals.
So you can
well.
opt, yeah.
But we have a long tradition, and of course we like to distinguish from BMW HE, from BMW M,
Yep.
and therefore, and that's the reason we stay with the buttons.
Okay, no, that's what I assumed. I personally, I like them. I love, and again, I can imagine having the car like I've had it for 4 days, and I've grown to like them more. But I just find when I'm on the limit, or if I'm driving fast through turns, sometimes I find it hard to position the button.
So on a racetrack, I would be with you that the pedals are meant.
Sure. And
I thought it was an M4.
No, yeah.
It was not for the front. He has a dark grille. Maybe he changed the grille.
Yeah, it looked like an M4. Yeah. No. We put this against an M3 the other day to get speed comparison.
Yes.
So a friend of Robert's has a M3 F80 DCT, and this just disappeared. It was good, like low speed and then just off, and this took off. You know, like within up to 200. This is the B7. We're in the M3. That was just gone, and that demonstrated, because I mean the M3 is a fast car. For something like this, just to walk away from something like an M3 it just demonstrated just how fast and powerful this car is. But anyway, okay. Also, something else that a lot of my followers and subscribers ask me, and I think I know the answer to it, but I wanted to ask you. They ask why Alpina don't build a smaller platform car like a 1 or 2. I'm guessing it's cost related. People aren't going to spend, you know, 50-60,000 euros on a 1 or 2 series, but that's what I think. But I just wanted your answer on why there's not a 1 or 2 series Alpina.
Okay, with Alpina, it was always our target to be exclusive.
Yep.
And currently our capacity is around 1,700 cars annually.
Sure.
And therefore, of course, we concentrate. Because our capacity is limited, we concentrate more on the higher cars,
sure,
higher engine and bigger platforms, and of course it gets more difficult to earn money on a car if you go in a lower platform.
Yeah.
Because in the past, when the new 1 and 2 series came, we once had an internal discussion and said, okay, should we do a B1? So we had a B3, should we do a B1? But finally we decided, no, let's make an entry-level 3 series.
Yep.
Because 3 series, from the body shape, it looks a little bit more adult, a little bit, it's a very nice shape.
More premium, yeah.
More premium. And therefore we decided, no, let's not do a B1, let's do a D. D3. So finally we did the D3, and we were very successful with a 4-cylinder engine in the beginning, especially in Great Britain as well.
Yeah.
We sold several hundred cars there, and yeah, and then we, of course, we said, okay, we have two variants, and if we have two variants on one basic platform, like a 3 Series or 4 Series, then okay, we have the same aerodynamic path, we have the same wheels, so this we can share development costs.
Sure.
And of course, we have to say there's a big okay, it's quite crowded in the 1 and 2 series with M performance models, with the M2 and
other sports cars as well, I suppose.
And yeah, so it's difficult, and if you need a quite very aggressive price tag. If you don't have it, then it's difficult to sell.
Yep.
And yeah, therefore we decided, let's start with the 3 Series and the 4 Series, but have two models there, have a diesel and a petrol.
Sure.
So finally this was our decision. And once we asked our customers, and finally there was only a certain interest in a 2 Series coupe.
Yep.
But not in a hatch.
Okay.
Not in a hatch, and therefore it even gave us proof that to start with the 3 Series.
Sure.
3 and 4 Series is good for us, but of course there are some fans who would like an ALPINA 2 Series as well.
Yep.
But I have to say, there's the M2 is a very convincing package with a nice fenders as well. So it did especially for the M2, and we would not be in such a position to change the bodywork that much at such a low price, and therefore it's we could not do such an attractive package for the same price.
Yep.
So this was finally the answer.
Sure, no problem. No, that makes a lot of sense, and that brings me on to the D3, which is actually one of my favorite cars in your lineup. I love it. I think it's, in the UK, it's very affordable as well, and I just think what you get for the money in that car is ridiculous, and the fact that it comes in a touring as well, which is great because BMW don't make any fast touring, so you know, that's brilliant. But the D3, now I love the diesel. I think it's incredible, and the torque off the line especially, it's just amazing. And a lot of my followers, again, I think people that write off diesels, fast diesels, they haven't driven them. They haven't tried a modern, even a 30D. They haven't tried that 6-cylinder unit. Then you get in something like a D3 that you guys have played with, and it's unbelievable, and it's very hard to express or tell people that, you know, the level of the performance that's from that engine. But what's going to happen with diesel? You know, down the track with the UK in 2020, we've got emission issues and things like that. Where do you see the diesel thing going? Are you going to continue to build? I mean, are you planning to build more and more diesels, or what's the situation over here? Okay, first of all, as you mentioned, a powerful diesel, or what I mentioned before, it's very important, or the driver feels, he thinks it's power, but it's torque. So with a diesel, when you accelerate at 2000 RPM, and you have 700 Newton meters, you know, it's like a Bentley, and you have it in a 3 Series, a car which weighs 1,600 kilo, which is about 3,500 pounds, or a little bit less. So it's very, very impressive, and especially on a small road, on a road with a lot of curves. If you have such a torquey engine, and therefore still we are convinced that diesel has a future, and currently still we are planning with diesel in the future, and with Euro 6 diesels, when you have this AdBlue stuff, it's a technique which is working well, and which is environmentally friendly, and especially BMW. So far, when there were a lot of tests from government-related organizations, BMW, they did a good job. They did a fair job, and they had no problems with this emissions. Volkswagen Dieselgate stuff. So, but of course we are close at the market. We are looking in the markets, and we have realized, or we have to look about hybrid vehicles as well. But I have to say, the ALPINA customers, who is very much so we have a very refined car concerning everything. You need the
the corner holding, the wide distribution, 50-50 front rear, in a 7, in a 5. So with an ALPINA car, you go 2 or 3 miles and you feel very at home and think, oh, the car is so easy to drive. It's not exhausting.
No.
I don't sweat. I can go fast. The car is very stable.
Yep.
Whether it's a 7 Series or a 3 Series, it's not like this marketing go-kart feeling, which is quite nice at 40 miles per hour or maybe at 80 miles per hour. But if you go faster, then the car gets very nervous. And if you go fast on a German motorway or fast on a smaller road, if a car gets very nervous and tricky, or especially the surface is wet, then you need a lot of concentration, and and it's not so much fun, especially if it's your everyday car. You go long distances, you need to go fast, relaxed.
Sure.
And with the hybrid stuff currently in the first generation, for customers who like to go long distances, who like to go fast on a German motorway or long distances still in Great Britain,
Yep.
You have a lot of compromise. You have a quite heavy battery.
Yep.
The battery often is in the trunk.
Yep.
When the battery is in the trunk, so the center of gravity goes up.
Sure.
The center of gravity goes out of the middle of the car. It goes in the back.
Yep.
Often the fuel cell is a little bit smaller.
Yep.
So the range is much lower than of a diesel.
Yep.
So the people who like high distances, high mileage, with to go 600 miles with one tank or 500 miles, that is not possible. So there's a lot of disadvantages right now, and therefore we think we have to wait for the second generation.
Sure.
When the batteries are much more powerful
And compact and lighter.
and when the chassis is engineered from the beginning, having in mind, oh, we will do a hybrid, and
Yep.
we should have the battery at the lowest point we can do it,
Yep.
to have a low center of gravity.
Sure.
Like BMW did,
Like the
for
i8.
example, i8.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe for the next 3 there could be a possibility.
Sure. I'm glad you say that, because I personally, aside from the i8, which I think is amazing, it feels very changing direction is great. The weight's all down low. It's a fantastic handling car. But every other hybrid that I've come across and I've tried, it makes no sense to me. They're no more efficient. They don't handle as well. And as you say, I can see it maybe in the future becoming a much more usable, better car. But at the moment, the technology is not there, as you say.
And it's a different attitude of customers.
Yes.
So we have not this kind of Toyota Prius customer.
Yep.
who's looking very much on a petrol car and very much on efficiency.
Yep.
But it's not like I have fun to accelerate. I have fun because I like a nice suspension setup.
Yep.
It's a complete different kind of customer.
Sure.
So finally, our intention is to have a very convincing product overall. It means engine, suspension, range,
Yep.
fuel consumption, and not optimizing one aspect, but being average or below average concerning handling, concerning range, and this kind of stuff.
Sure.
That doesn't make sense.
No.
So in this case, better to have a Me Too solution, but a very convincing solution later, and not to be first in the market with a lot of bad compromises.
Yep. Okay.
And if we look in the countries where there's not high government advantages with support money, for example, still in Germany they started right now with hybrid support money of 3,000 euro, but it has not rocketed right now. It's still very, very low.
Yep.
So currently it would not make sense for us.
Sure.
And for example, we cannot do experiments. Still if we develop a new car, if we develop a 3 Series or 4 Series, we spend around 10 million euro on a product.
Yeah.
So we cannot do a product and hope maybe it runs. But if it would not run, and for example, if we would not do a diesel and would do a hybrid,
Yeah.
but the market is not ready for it, or the mass market, for our customer, it would be a disaster for us.
Of course.
So therefore, currently, of course, we we rely on diesel, and I'm convinced with Euro 6 diesel, with AdBlue, there will be a market and it will go on.
Yep.
But we have to be prepared. If we feel any tendencies in the markets that hybrids go up and diesels go down, then okay, maybe we have to change our strategy. Or what I think, which is even more realistic to me, is after 2020. Yes, we have a diesel, but in addition and in combination with a mild hybrid.
Okay.
So then you have a 48 volt system.
Yep.
And if there's any restriction, you're not allowed anymore to go into inner London, whatever. Okay, then you shut down your diesel engine. You have maybe a 10 kilowatt hour, 5 to 10 kilowatt hour battery,
sure.
And you are able to go maybe with a maximum speed of 40 miles in city traffic with a small electric engine,
yep.
which is placed in between the petrol engine and the automatic gearbox. But not with a high power, only with maybe 15 kilowatts.
Yep.
Because it's enough to go in congested traffic.
Sure. That's fascinating.
And so then you would have a lower CO2 level.
Yep.
But still you have a car which has a certain performance, and if the battery is not too big, you have not the disadvantage with the weight, and you could reach the battery. If it's a small battery, you could recharge the battery with out-town traffic,
with regeneration. Sure.
Regeneration, and like the i8 does.
When you're accelerating,
when you are in constant driving, you still can recharge via the generator.
Yep.
Your battery. So I think these solutions are more realistic for ALPINA.
Yep.
Than to have a full and heavy hybrid.
Sure. Okay, that's great. That's a very, very well answered question. Okay, so what else have I got? The factory collection for the cars, it doesn't happen anymore. Are you looking at reintroducing factory collection for new cars, or is it something that is just not possible?
Currently, in recent years, the demand for ALPINA worldwide has increased quite dramatically. So some years ago we sold less than 1,000 cars, and now we are on 1,700. And our company has naturally grown, got bigger, and so due to the fact that we are very limited in a lot of areas right now, if you make a collection of an ALPINA car within our ALPINA factory, the customer has the expectation, which is absolutely right.
Yep.
I need to get a company tour, bam, 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 bam. And currently for us this is quite difficult for two reasons. First reason, we have a lot of ongoing new products like the new B5. Then we have started to develop our new D5.
Yep.
So there's a lot of prototype cars around,
sure,
which is difficult to hide for us.
Yep.
And then we have some products where we support BMW in setting up suspensions for BMW cars.
Yep.
As an engineering support company.
Yep.
And so we are currently not in a position to do the factory tools.
Sure. Okay.
And therefore it's difficult to have a customer purchasing a car, being at ALPINA, and tells them, but we can't do a factory tool. Then he will be very much disappointed.
Sure.
But of course, in the long term, we would like to have factory tours again.
Sure. Yeah.
So currently we block these kind of things, and on certain occasions annually we have some tours where we have bigger groups of people, and then they can have a look behind the scenes or how is ALPINA working.
Yeah, I found that fascinating. I had a tour on Tuesday morning. Andreas walked us around, and it was just so nice to see how much effort, time, man hours, woman hours goes into making everything, especially the saddle rooms, like with the interior and stuff. I mean, I knew it in my head, but just seeing it and how passionate and how everyone's happy and loves, like Andreas, he told me he loved ALPINA from a young age, and he dreamt of and now he works there, and he's just everyone there is passionate about the product, which is so nice. And I think it wouldn't happen in anything that's a bigger business or a big, you know, if you're a much bigger company, it's hard to sort of keep that happening. But it just seems like a big family in there, and everyone is so passionate about the brand, and they loved, like, you could ask them anything and give you a detailed answer like yourself. And it's just so nice and refreshing in this day and age to see that, you know, of a manufacturer, you know.
So you're absolutely right, 100% right. Okay, we are in a lucky situation that in the recent 51 years, now we work with BMW for 51 years, that we have done in the past a good job. We had always quite good and press reports, and when the business became more tough, we asked BMW in the end of the 80s, we need to be much more integrated in the production of ALPINA cars. You know, in the 60s and 70s we bought a BMW and transferred it later on into a BMW ALPINA.
Sure.
But you know, you have small brakes, you don't need the small brakes, it's rubbish.
Yep.
Yeah, you need a different exhaust system, you need a different gearbox who can handle a higher torque. We have different wheels, we had a different steering wheel, so it's a lot of parts. We were not any more effective, so and the business became more tough. So we asked BMW, can we deliver our ALPINA engine into the plant? Can we deliver our suspension parts into the plant? And now we have a mixed manufacturing process. So the main components are integrated in the BMW plants, whether they are in Germany or maybe Spartanburg, America.
Sure.
For the
XT3. Oh yeah.
For the XT3.
Yeah.
And we were able to got more and more integrated. But on the other hand, our customer like very much high quality interior with the finest Rolls-Royce quality leather, which we call Lavalina leather.
Yep.
And this is 100% work in our saddlery. So then we get our car, we get the BMW ALPINA back in. Every car comes into our facility again, and we do the final production. So we do the front and the rear deck spoiler, because it takes some time to glue the spoilers, which this time is not at the assembly line of BMW.
Sure.
So therefore every car has to come to our place. In some cars we have to integrate a Krapovich exhaust system afterwards. So therefore, it's the best of both worlds. So we have the ALPINA blue and green signature colors painted in very high quality on the basic body in the BMW paint shop.
Yep.
In a very high quality, great. You couldn't do it afterwards in the same quality and at the same cost.
Sure.
And on the other hand, you have this. Every car to a certain extent is hand built, because we add on the aerodynamic parts.
Yep.
And of course, like the B7, if you have the nicest Lavalina leather interior, our saddlers remove, and our mechanics remove the seats.
Yep.
The seats go in the first go in the first floor, and our saddlers put on the new leather, the finest leathers, and it's a lot of hand built and a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of handcrafted passion, which goes into every ALPINA.
Sure.
And so we are really lucky to combine both processes.
Yep.
On the one hand, you have an industrial product with a very high processes and high quality. On the other hand, we have this handcrafted ALPINA parts integrated, and so we have a very good product, which is very individual and very handcrafted. But on the other hand, we have a very fair price.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, that's otherwise, say the D3 in the UK is about £50,000. If that wasn't using the same modern process that you just talked about, it would be a lot. It would have to be higher, because you would not make any money.
Probably it would be 15% higher.
Yeah.
No. So we are really in a lucky and unique position, because we are 100% independent company.
Yep.
But still, we work so close with BMW
Yeah.
for more than 50 years.
Sure, yeah, that's amazing. Incredible. Right, there's a couple more questions. Who is your, okay, let's talk a bit about your racing history, and also where you see yourself. You know, are you going to be doing much more racing now that you're a proper family man? And also your racing idols, like past and currently. Let's talk about your current F1, who you look up to in F1 at the moment, and who you looked up to in the past as a racing driver, no matter what. Does that make sense?
Okay, currently F1, to be honest, to me is a little bit boring.
Sure.
Because the engine plays absolutely vital role.
Yep.
And there's so much freedom and regulations that you need a deep research, and you need the research and development of a huge and big company, but
yep.
Like Mercedes-Benz, like Renault, to make a competitive product. So it's not enough like it was maybe 10 years, 15, 20 years ago, where you have maybe 5 people who would be electric and hybrid cool engineers,
yep.
and could design some really cool out of a very small unit, out of a small unit of maybe 5, 10, 15 people, and make a cool thing. Now you need the whole research and development basic like a huge car manufacturer has.
Yep.
And this makes it still tricky for Ferrari.
Yep.
And tricky for other manufacturers to compete. That's a little bit a pity, because for example Red Bull by far has the best chassis, but they are not anymore able to win races
because of the engine.
Because of the engine.
Yep.
And the others as well. So but maybe this year it will become better, because now with the bigger tires, changed aerodynamics, maybe tires, suspension, tires and aerodynamics play a bigger role again, and then maybe it can be interesting.
Sure.
So we will see. But going back to the past, of course, I have grown up with the company, and ALPINA went into racing at the end of the 70s, end of the 60s, beginning of the 70s, to make the ALPINA brand name well known.
Sure.
Again, or well known for the first time. And you know, in the 70s, 60s, 70s, it was quite normal that sometimes after 20,000 miles a cylinder head gasket was worn and you had a car breakdown, and you could prove in racing you have a very reliable product.
Yep.
Especially in these long distance races like 24-hour Nürburgring, 24-hour Spa-Francorchamps. And at the time you had 4-speed gearboxes in the road cars, and in racing you had 5-speed gearboxes. So a lot of race car parts got transformed into the road cars.
Yep.
Like gearboxes, like increased cooling for rear axles, for gearboxes, for engine, like Weber carburetors, bigger carburetors on the engine to get more horsepower. And this was perfect for ALPINA as a platform, to make the ALPINA name well known for reliability, for racing success. And ALPINA in 1970 won the 24-hour Spa-Francorchamps overall win, won the German Touring Car Championship, won the German Rally Championship, won
Yep.
the German Slalom Championship.
Everything.
So it was, I think, 5 championships.
Wow.
And then we were lucky again, because suddenly a young guy called Niki Lauda was knocking at ALPINA's doors and said, I'm a young guy, I race in Formula 3, but I need to earn some money in touring cars. I would like to race touring cars for you, but I need to go to the army right now in Austria. So I would like to have my my place of living changed to Germany right now, at your place in Buchloe, because then I need not to go to the Austrian army, and then I would like to drive for you as well.
Oh, brilliant.
And my father, and there were a lot of fast Austrian guys at Marco, who is now working with Red Bull.
Yes, of course.
He was driving for Alpina a little bit.
Yeah.
And there was others, Dieter Quester, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So there were some Austrian crazy guys around.
Brilliant.
And Niki Lauda started racing in the 70s with Alpina. And you know, he was a garage Formula 1 driver with March and BRM in Formula 1. He was not with Ferrari.
No.
But it was quite clear after the first races that he was fast from the spot, and he was the fastest touring car driver.
Wow.
And therefore it was cool because BMW Motorsport in 73, you know, till the end of the 60s and beginning of the 70s, BMW Motorsport didn't exist. So Alpina and Schnitzer did the racing for BMW.
Yep. Got them on the map, basically.
Yes, and got some money from BMW. And in 73 there was the first season. Said there were competition between Schnitzer, Alpina, and the new form BMW Motorsport.
Wow.
And the funny thing was, it was the first race at Monza, and we had a very good engineer, Dr. Indra. He was working with Alpina till the end of the 70s. He was genius. Later on, he worked with Audi and he worked with General Motors. When it came to the first race at Monza, he said, "Oh, BMW has homologated now a 3.3 liter. But what do you want? Do we want maybe to win the race, or do we want to win the championship?" My father said, "Of course we like to win the championship." Okay, then we cannot take the 3.3. We have to step back and take a 3 liter because we have problems with. There's too much at the moment. There's too much resonance in the system. We have to improve the damping of the crankshaft. We will not make it for the first race. We can do it maybe for the second race.
Okay.
So we had the smallest engines, were only 7s in practice, and the Ford Capris and the BMW Motorsport and Schnitzer. Everybody was faster.
Yeah.
But in the race, BMW Motorsport and Schnitzer, everybody failed with this problem with a crankshaft damper.
Amazing.
And Niki Lauda won the first race.
Oh wow!
And it was a complete white car because Alpina had no sponsor.
Wow!
So, but winning the first race, Jägermeister knocked at Alpina's door and said, "Oh, you have Niki Lauda. He's a fast guy. Can we sponsor your car with Jägermeister?"
Yeah.
And yes, this was the beginning of a great season, and they came up so Alpina won several races of the touring, won the most races in this year of the European Touring Car Championship, and helped BMW to win the manufacturer title.
Fantastic.
And then there was a showdown at the Nürburgring 6-hour race, Nürburgring Nordschleife.
Yes.
And at the time, the Formula 1 drivers, Ford was very strong with Emerson Fittipaldi, Jackie Stewart, and they got for free the Ford Formula 1 V8 engines.
Right. And
Ford said, "Okay, if you have our engines for free, we need your Formula 1 guys for several races in the touring cars."
Yeah.
And so Jackie Stewart and Emerson Fittipaldi had to race in a Ford Capri, a 6-hour Nürburgring touring car.
Wow, yeah.
With Goodyear tires, because they had a contract with Goodyear and not with Dunlop tires, and they had a white Ford Capri, not to interfere with any sponsor Formula 1 things.
Yeah.
And so Niki Lauda was in pole position in the Alpina, and the king of the Nordschleife, Hans Stuck, was second in a Works BMW. And then were following Jochen Maas, and I think Emerson Fittipaldi and Jackie Stewart were 5th or 6th.
Wow.
So this helped Niki Lauda a lot.
Of course.
Because he was beating everybody in the touring cars. It pushed our image, and Niki Lauda, when I interviewed him for our 50 years anniversary, I interviewed him in Wien, and he said, "Yes, of course, Alpina helped me a lot by winning touring car races, bringing me more and more into the focus."
Yep.
Then it helped me to even further push my career into Formula 1. And then he got his Ferrari contract in 74, and he did less touring car races.
Sure, yeah.
But it was very helpful. But And then then the oil crisis came. BMW ALPINA stepped out of racing, but came back in 1977 with Dieter Quester with the green Gösser beer, very famous ALPINA car. And and then the target again was to win the European Touring Car Championship, which ALPINA did again. And what I forgot to mention, Niki Lauda won with the Jägermeister car in '73 the 24 hours at the Nürburgring as well. And ALPINA was winning 24 hours in the Nürburgring in a row, 71, 72 and 73.
Wow, hat-trick.
So it was very much about of reliability, and what was very important as well, and which was sometimes very surprising for competition as well, in the long distance touring car races, which were only 4 hours, 6 hours or 24 hours, said ALPINA needed a fuel stop less. Because my father was from the beginning not looking for the highest horsepower output, he was always looking for the highest torque, and he was looking for low fuel consumption. So he pushed the engineers, okay, we need an engine which is very good drivable in the mid-rev range as well, which has a low fuel consumption, because if it's raining you need a mid-rev range. If you have a lower fuel consumption, we lose less time. And it's still in '73 they won the British race at Silverstone. They were always second in the race, and suddenly the BMW motorsport car has to do another fuel stop. And ALPINA won the race.
Wow.
So and this was a foundation later on for, you know, now everybody's speaking about of environmental friendly, about low fuel consumption, but with ALPINA it was in the blood from the 60s and 70s. Have a powerful car for every day, but have a reasonable fuel consumption as well, and the reasonable fuel consumption is less exhaust fumes,
Of course.
And for example, when ALPINA came back into racing, so ALPINA stepped out in '77, came back in the 80s, in '87, '88. I was driving DTM races in a green Michelin sponsored race car, M3 ALPINA, and ALPINA introduced metal catalytic converters in racing cars in '87 and in '88 in the DTM as well. And later, catalytic converters get mainstream. But so ALPINA was the first in '85 having metal catalytic converters, because there was a big discussion in Germany that the forests are dying, and Germany has no speed limit, and everybody should get a speed limit now in Germany due to environmental reasons. And my father did a huge advertising campaign in the biggest German newspapers like Süddeutsche Zeitung, Frankfurter Zeitung, Bild Zeitung, and Spiegel, and the car magazines, saying it's
something has to change.
It's too silly only to get a speed limit due to safety reasons, due to environmental reasons. We have such a lot of clever engineers. The technique is around to make to fulfill every emission regulations, to have cars which are fulfilling everything, which are not polluting anything. And we are starting right now. Still the environment is not ready now. You have a button in your car, you can change between fuel with lead you need for your normal petrol, but then you can put a button, you have lead-free fuel, and you can use catalytic converters as well.
Sure.
And so there was this possibility, and it is on our blood, and ALPINA is environmental friendly, and therefore we are not afraid of having clean diesels or having hybrid technology in the future. It's, you know, it's in some kind it gets more restricted and it gets more difficult, but on the other hand there's a lot of chances making nice products.
That's
course, when I had you know, in the first place, Alpina had no diesel engines as well, because diesel was not sporty, but I had the chance when BMW initiated the new direct injected diesel engine, which was at the end of, it was in 1999.
Yeah.
There was a BMW developed, said, oh, we have a very nice, very powerful 4-cylinder diesel engine. It was an experimental engine, but we could put it in a race car for a long distance race and could prove that not only the competition from Wolfsburg has the best diesels, then we have now modern diesels coming as well with direct injection and so on. And we should do the 24-hour race on the Nürburgring.
Yeah.
And at the same time, BMW raced with Le Mans prototypes, with open sports cars.
Yes.
And Le Mans was, I think, at the same weekend or a weekend later. And everybody of the BMW race drivers was so involved with the Le Mans project or with other touring car projects, and everybody said, oh, with a diesel car, forget it. And I was working at the time at the BMW suspension development department, so I was not working for Alpina, I was working at BMW. Yeah. So they asked me, oh, could you do some tire testing work with Michelin and Ladoux, and could you do some long distance running with our diesel engine?
Yep.
And I did it, and I said, oh, this guy is fast as well. He can come racing with us, because.
Oh, so that's how it started for you. That's how you got in that car initially.
How I got in a diesel car, and finally we were lucky. BMW brought 2 cars at the racetrack, and I was able to win, to do the overall victory in the 24-hour Nürburgring race in 1998. So I had a lot top 10 finishes because I did the race about 15 times in my career, and I finished it 4th and 6th, but with BMW and this car with the diesel, and this was the first overall win of a 24-hour race, long before Audi won Le Mans.
Of course, yeah.
And this was the introduction then of the BMW direct injection and powerful engines.
Amazing.
So that, this was really, really cool, of course.
Again, Alpina.
And then I had the idea, oh, let's do a diesel Alpina as well. But of course, then we decided for several reasons to start with a 6-cylinder inline, and had the first bi-turbo 6-cylinder inline diesel with 245 horsepower.
Sure.
And later on had a 4-cylinder as well.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's...
We go on a little, or
no, we can. We can go off. If you want. Yeah, we're finished.
It's up to you.
Yeah. Oh, go on. I've got 2 more. No, but I don't want to take too much of your time.
No, I'm fine.
I mean, I'm
at your disposal. That's fine.
Okay, can we try? So, you can take me back to London.
Okay.
No. There's I've got 2 more questions, and that's it. Well, this is a quick one. This can be a quick answer. Just what I'm assuming the Nürburgring is your favourite circuit because that's your biggest win. But is that true, or what is your favourite racing circuit? Where do you like, taking a car out for a blast?
Yes, I think there's 2. So you're absolutely right, 100% right. Nürburgring Nordschleife is the coolest track, and still the conditions you have to race there. I once raced there in 2005. I finished 5th overall, and in the morning at 11 o'clock suddenly there was a heavy hail, and suddenly I raced and I thought, oh, the track is completely right in front of me. I had slicks on the car. I heavily braked, went with about 40 miles over in a straight line over the hail and widening, and didn't go off the track, and was lucky. On another time at night, I went down the Fuchsröhre, which you go with maybe 250 kilometers. The Foxhole, Yes, and it was at night, and I thought, there's a lot of headlights in my direction. Maybe there's a problem down there. I should heavily brake. And I was lucky because I braked down to 40 miles an hour, and there was heavy rain down there, and the car was spinning and crashing. And I came down there. I had a lot of experience. I didn't spin.
Yeah, you managed to avoid it
I went
and get out of there.
And a mile later, it was completely dry again. And then I went on the Döttinger Höhe, which is a long straight, 2.5 kilometers before you come into the pit area.
Yes.
And then I thought, let's not go 260 kilometers per hour. It's better going only maybe 160, because you never know, maybe it rains again.
Yes, yeah.
So I went only 150, 160, because you go over some corners, you cannot see whether it's raining or not.
Sure.
And suddenly it rained heavily, and I was lucky. And I was lucky not to go.
And everyone else is spinning off, and you're just going through the middle.
And I said, okay, then I could brake from maybe 100 miles an hour up to 70 miles an hour. Didn't spin in the rain. And with the slicks went into the pits and changed.
Wow.
Okay, so this is one very nice track, and a very good track as well as I like very much is Spa-Francorchamps.
Yep.
Because going through Eau Rouge in a heavy car and in this fast left-right-hander, and the compression and the car in the back end is sliding a little bit, and you're corrected and you're drifting, and that's really cool.
Oh yes, yeah, no, totally. Oh, I agree. I've never driven on Spa. I've been around there slowly in a parade lap.
It's really cool.
Yeah, from everyone I know that races, they always say Spa, and in the Nordschleife is just what a circuit that is. Okay, and I guess the final question, I just wanted to ask you a little bit about your father, Burkhard. Is that how you pronounce his name? Excuse my pronunciation. But what's his? Does he have much input on sort of the current lineup, and how much does he have to do with the sort of current production in the Alpina lineup?
Okay, he is still he is 80 now, but he is still in his brain. He is very clear, and of course, if you do strategic decisions like expanding our facilities, or for example, when we ran into the 2009 economic crisis, his advice is heavily, is very versy and very helpful.
Sure.
But we have two businesses. The second hobby of my father is a wine business. So when we went racing in the 70s, he bought a lot of wine in the vicinities, because the European Touring Car Championship was in Spain and Portugal and Italy and France. And he collected a lot of wine because he liked good food and wine. And suddenly he said, I should do my second hobby into business. First hobby were the cars, the BMW 1500, beginning in the 60s. He said, that's a lame duck. I need to get some carburetors from Weber, like Ferrari and Alfa have them, to make a powerful accelerating car out of a BMW 1500, which was a car like a 5 Series of today.
Sure.
And so with the same passion, he started his wine business. So today he is, he has his wife is very good. His advice is very helpful strategically, and of course he is interested in which products we will have in the future. Of course he likes to know whether we will do a hybrid in the future or not. We have a lot of discussions concerning SUV cars, because in his mindset, in the first place, he said an Alpina SUV, that's not in his imagination. We cannot do it. It's polluting the air. It's too much consumption. But
handling is wrong.
Handling is wrong. Center of gravity. But finally, we convinced him. In the first place, he said, "No, you can do it." We are 3 people: my brother, me, and my father. And the board, and he said, okay, you can do it, I have nothing to do with it. But finally, when we had the first car ready, and of course it was a diesel and not a petrol, consumption was not so high, and he said, oh, I like to drive it, only to get an idea of it, how it drives. And finally he said, okay, the car is nice. And it was, finally he said afterwards, it was the right decision to do so. So it's some discussions, but of course he's not involved in every day. Oh, how last week, how were our sales figures?
Of course,
or involved in every market we are working with. And he said, okay, now last year we entered China for the first time as Alpina. I said, okay, be careful with China, don't plan too high volumes.
Yep.
So yeah.
Oh, that's great to hear.
That's good. Yeah, that's still good to have him.
Yeah, yeah, of course. And I love the fact that he lives in the middle of the factory.
Yeah.
It's so cool. A beautiful house, and then there's all everything's happening around it. It's so surreal. It's beautiful. Yeah, well, that's really it. I mean, I could talk to you for days, and I massively appreciate you talking to me and taking this time to take me out for a rally drive. And and I just love. I personally just love your product. I mean, I'm a big BMW man. I love BMWs, but I just think what Alpina do to them, and your own individuality, and just the small touches.
So if it goes constant, we have a certain sound level, but if you accelerate,
yep.
But if you go constant, maybe for example with 70 miles,
yep.
The car is quite quiet for long distance. We have a lot of people who go long distances, driving 30,000 miles a year or more.
Yep.
And this helps a lot. Yeah, to have a car which is a dream car. We always say Alpina has a dream car for every day. It's not the kind of car you take out on a Sunday morning to have 3 hours of fun on a narrow road. No, it's a car you can enjoy every day.
Yeah, yeah.
It is our goal to have a total harmonious concept of engine, consumption, latest engineering, nice handwork, everything very harmonious.
Yeah.
And this, sometimes people ask, what is your secret? And I think the secret is we are a very small, dedicated team.
Yep.
And of course, it helps if the members of the board have a lot of knowledge about cars as well.
Yeah.
So I drive every car. We do the setup of the suspension and give my advice and my feeling to the engineers. So everybody knows very sharp where to go. So
Brilliant.
Sometimes the British press says, "Oh, the Alpina, the handling is so nice. What is the secret behind?"
Yeah.
And I think one secret is there's not too much people talking and discussing about
too many inputs.
Too many. It's a small group and they know what they want.
Sure. And they work so well because our roads are terrible. You were saying earlier on about the American road, like we have terrible. The British roads are renowned for poor surfaces, and that's what you get in a B3 or D3, and they iron out our terrible roads so well. And I think that's the biggest plus side for the Alpina cars in the UK is just what they do with the ride. It's unbelievable. But anyway.
No, but anyway, we are happy. That we have the right products for the British markets, and often in Britain is said Alpina. It feels like a small Bentley. It's so torquey, it's so effortless, and this car which is so easy to drive and so effortless in acceleration. I think it's a very good niche we are in. And this goes all in conjunction with BMW AG, with BMW M. So an M can be a little bit more sporty because there's Alpina to fill the gap in between.
Sure, yeah. I love that you don't stand on each other's toes. You kind of go like this, but yeah, exactly. Yeah.
This helps a lot, and depending on the model, if we look on the 3 and 4 series, I think Audi is our main competitor, and if we look into bigger models like 5 Series, 6, 7s, then AMGs, because they have the automatic gearboxes and this kind of stuff.
Sure. Brilliant. Okay, well, lovely to meet you. Really lovely.
I have to do a chauffeur's course with you. I should have sit in the back. You should drive for.
We can do that. We'll go around the block.
Yeah, we do.
Okay. I'd love to do that.
But you have to act as you do as
a chauffeur. So we're just going to step up the pace a bit now. I can feel immediately on the summers. It's just stuck. Like absolutely stable, but I've already felt that with you in the car.
It's a narrow.
Yeah. You tell me if I'm.
you go as you like, but I have to say I'm a very bad passenger.
Okay, I won't go too fast then.
No, you go as you
like. No. I just want to feel the grip levels, and the tarmac is a little bit dirty.
A little bit.
Oh.
Yeah, when it comes, then it comes.
Yeah.